it's Wednesday and we're back with another video. So what are we doing today?
Whole world is talking about it. Trump said we are shady people. He doesn't like what South Africa is doing.
Yo.
But before we get into it, let's just check out this clip first, and then you tell me what you think.
So you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the bed.
What are your thoughts on
It
all of
sounds like a bad case of broken telephone, to be honest. I feel like it's quite, for me, it almost feels so obvious that somebody is busy whispering in Trump's ear about South Africa and South African affairs. And I won't lie, I feel strongly that that person is Elon Musk. But obviously the AfriForums and stuff also had a huge contribution as well to where he stands as well. But yeah, that's what I feel at first when I heard this, is like, it's just a really bad case of broken telephone.
Well, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, I've been pondering this for a while, and it's like, is this what we're gonna be doing?
Is it
like for the rest of our lives? We're
is
just gonna be fighting each other like this?
Is it?
I don't get why it has to come to this. Like, so with Trump, I don't mind that he's doing what he's doing. He was fed certain information, thinking that South Africa is targeting or oppressing a group of people. He was fed this information throughout his first presidency. He made remarks about the killing of the white farmers, even though that has been debunked I don't know how many times now. But white people are still adamantly saying that white farmers are disproportionately being killed more than any other person in the country, which is completely false. But anyway, that's the narrative that they're pushing. But now, with the expropriation bill being signed recently, the new narrative that's being pushed is that the government is just gonna take land from people
as they please, basically,
land grab,
just grabbing,
confiscating.
Confiscating
He's even using the word confiscate, which is wrong. So Trump getting all the information that he's getting. It's the USA's money. It's their money.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do with it. Yeah. If they want to fund us, fine. If they don't,
it's
good.
Don't.
It's good that this might help South Africa
self-reliant.
Yes, be more self-reliant and not rely on the West to fund our initiatives and all that kind of stuff like that. So there's a positive in that. The likes of your AfriForums have come out to take some sort of credit for Trump knowing about the things that are happening to white South Africans. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, is this really what we're going to be doing? Like, I'm gonna be like 90 years old. I'm gonna die in South Africa. We're gonna be fighting this. We're gonna be talking about this.
And it's being carried over now to the next generation and the next generation. And I won't lie, racial tensions in South Africa are getting worse. At this point, they are really, really bad. And it's almost like the little bit of hope that we had to possibly, come together is slowly dying by the day. And there are people who blatantly tell lies on social media from both sides. I don't want to just say white people, but from black people as well. But both sides are just coming out with the craziest lies and the craziest things, basically, and which are far from the truth of our reality. And this is just further perpetuating the hatred between the two groups. I'm going to say the two groups because honestly, it's usually against the two groups. So at this point, South Africa will continue to be torn. We have a lot of white people now who are praying and hoping that, America takes them in. White South Africans praying that America takes them in. Look, we're not gonna be mad about anybody who wants to leave, you know. But it's just a shame. Like, it's just a shame, particularly these things being done under false pretenses and the lies about, you know, or basically just an exaggeration of a lot of things and acting like white people here are living under oppression.
So what I don't like particularly like with this whole thing is like the whole thing about politics is like people are fighting for their own interests. That's what politics is.
Absolutely.
Different groups of people fighting for their own interests in a country. Now a democracy is now the majority vote on the interest of the majority.
The majority.
That's what democracy is. Like, we all come together, we vote, and then the leaders that we vote in serve the interest of the majority. So now when you have a situation where you have your civil rights groups like your AfriForum, for instance, not fighting for their own interests in the right way. For example, this expropriation act was signed into law. Many political parties like your DAs and your Freedom Front Pluses, they say they're going to dispute this act in court.
Yes, in court.
That's how you fight for your interests.
Yes.
What does AfriForum do?
It goes...
You go to the States.
Yes.
You tell the President of the United States that you're being oppressed.
And now they...
Knowing that you're not being oppressed. So now the President of the United States has to act on that.
Has to act on...
Yes, we are a very diverse country and we're all going to have disputes about what we want and how we want the country to operate and all that kind of stuff like that. But we have ways to handle these things domestically. We've been doing that since '94. We've been arguing and fighting with each other domestically since 1994 about how we want this country to be run.
Yes.
And then because you're losing the battle, you're losing the fight, you have to go get an external force to bully us into submitting to your interests.
Basically.
That's not right.
And it's not gonna work out like that.
It's just wrong because this expropriation bill was passed in Parliament. We took a whole constitutional process here. It was passed in Parliament.
It was justified.
It was signed into law by the president. And anybody who has who disputes this act can take it to the constitutional court and dispute it.
And the DA was saying that they're going to do that.
So democracy is that if you feel like your ideology or your idea is what's going to work best for the country, you need to present that to the masses.
Absolutely.
Present your argument, present your ideology, and basically convince the masses to vote for it. That's
You're
democracy.
Not entitled.
You can't just bully us into submitting to your own ideologies, your own interests. So this whole process now that you went and gotten another country involved in our own internal affairs, you're undermining our democracy. That's what you're doing. On top of that, you're undermining the country's sovereignty.
Yes.
Because now you allow another country to bully us.
What is that? We need Trump to sort out our problems. Like, what is that?
And I've seen a couple of people saying that with Trump's leadership, it's going to prevent South Africa from becoming Zimbabwe 2.0.
What?
Like Trump is not your leader.
Trump is not your leader. If you want Trump to be a leader, go to the States.
That's it.
Go.
If you think Trump is going to come here and lead us.
Imagine, we are not going to allow that. I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen.
So that's the one thing that I hated about this whole process. Trump deciding to not fund us because he doesn't like our policies, that's fine. It's the USA's money, it's the taxpayers' money there.
Right.
What he decides to do with that, I do not care. But
that's not fair.
Trying to bully us into operating the country in a certain way is totally
and that's exactly why BRICS is was actually taking a serious stand to move away from the dollar, is for things like this, and for the USA feeling like they've got authority in other countries' affairs, and that's not right. And then every time things don't go their way, tariffs. No. We can't work like that in 2025. And that is why I can be in full support of us moving away from the dollar if it means that we live for the rest of our lives being bullied like that.
So this highlights the importance of BRICS. And if you've noticed, ever since Trump got elected, Trump has been weaponizing the dollar against every country that he wants to make a deal with.
What kind of relationship is that? What kind of relationship is that? Because you always want to have the upper hand. If things don't go your way or don't serve your interests, then you want to start bullying people, start cutting people off and things like that. Like, that has to come to an end. I'm sorry, but it has to come to an end.
So the funny thing about this, which is something that I picked up today, is that the DA actually came out and
said
defended
yes and defended.
the
That was
Expropriation
so beautiful, actually. Like, honestly, that was the last thing. They didn't have to do that.
I think they know how serious this thing is.
Yes.
So they had to do that. So what I find funny about this is that they had a whole campaign painting this Expropriation Act as unconstitutional, as one of the worst things that's going to happen to the country and all of that. And then when push came to shove,
they suddenly had
they were
reason,
like, whoa,
sound
it's
reason.
not as bad as people make it out to be.
Okay? It's not as bad. I know we were wilding, but it's not as bad. I can assure you. It's not. And they gave the truth about the situation. They gave the truth about it. And it's like, it's so beautiful that they could do that. You know, it's like them respecting the laws of their country, to be honest. And that, okay, we can have our conflicts, all right? But we'll solve this domestically. But when it comes externally, hello, you know, don't, because they know the truth about the situation. And there are people they want to pose on lies. Though that's treason.
Yeah, many people call
That's treason.
You're undermining our democracy.
Yes.
Like, let's solve our domestic issues domestically.
You are welcome to go with where your personal interests align. If you no longer want to be part of this scuffle, we will be left scuffling alone and figuring it out.
And this sets a very bad precedent, because
it absolutely does.
Now, whenever a certain group of people are not happy, phone call to a state, hello, you're not happy, can you please do something about it? That's not how democracy works.
That's not how it works. And that's not how it works, honestly. Like, that made me sick to my stomach. That made me sick to my stomach.
It's very unfortunate that there's a group of people paint themselves out as being targeted and oppressed when they are first-class citizens in the country. By every metric, first-class citizens. If you just look at all the metrics, you see that white South Africans are still by far first-class citizens in this country. But then if you look at all the metrics, you just see a trend where you see white South Africans at the top, Indian Asians after, coloreds, and then black people at the bottom. The same pattern that you saw in apartheid. So nothing has really changed. So the fact that there are people trying to equate the racial laws that we have today to the ones that were in apartheid
are just crazy.
It's very, very disingenuous.
Are just crazy.
Them equating the two as if it's like somewhere in the same realm.
No, it is absolutely not.
Completely wrong, because now just based off that headline, South Africa has more racial laws than it did in apartheid. It's making the democratic era of South Africa seem comparable to apartheid.
How?
And that's what they
How
want.
when white people are not concentrated into small, dense areas and squashed all over each other? They're not.
So by painting all these narratives that they are being oppressed, painting all these narratives that they're being attacked and targeted, obviously the international community will see that and be like, okay, let's see what's happening there. Something's not right. These people are complaining and crying. And
I would love for them to actually see that.
But if you look at all the metrics, if you just look at the standard of living, if you look at what it means to be white in South Africa and what it means to be black, if you look at the context, historical context, just look at context, you will understand why these laws are in place. And nobody's being oppressed.
And you wouldn't argue. You wouldn't argue why they are in place.
Nobody's being oppressed by these laws.
Absolutely.
Literally
nobody.
It's really one of the sadder things of this now, is that they've managed to flip the narrative into making themselves victims.
The victims. It saddens me.
Even though they know they're privileged, they know that.
It's so sad. It makes my heart sink, because it just shows me we'll never ever see eye to eye. Never.
So it's very sad that it's going the route that we all see it's going to, and people are okay with that. Okay.
Sharp. But for you too.
But wherever we go into, it's not good.
Yeah.
We all know that. But because people have so much pride.
But let it get, because clearly, you know, like sweeping things under the carpet isn't working either. It's clearly just brewing this. You
It
know?
is what it is, man. It's a very sad situation. This just exposed like the social fabric of South Africa and where we stand like as a society. I don't necessarily care about, you know, external forces like the USA, but here domestically, we are nowhere near being a united country.
No.
We're nowhere near striving for the same thing.
No.
We're nowhere near wanting the same thing as a country.
Yeah.
We
all want success, but not together.
Yeah. It is what it is. What you guys let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.